When somebody starts an agency, they kind of be like, okay, I'm going to give all the services. And when I speak to agency founders one-on-one, I was like, that would work in our industry like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, because there were not too many digital marketing agencies. Now there are so many that the ones that are working like yours and like a lot of others that I know is because you stuck to one niche, picked it up, and you said, okay, I'm going to be an expert at this and be known for that. And I think for you, that was maybe like production that you got into. Tell us about how you started that.
Yeah, absolutely right. So my journey has been in video. So even though I was a creator, so technically I knew social media. I'd worked with social media clients. I'd worked in influencer marketing. I did not, when Owl was started, I did not start with any of these. But I wasn't this wise. I had an agency before this, which I don't speak about much, right? Like it's called Motion Trooper, or rather was called Motion Trooper in 2019. You know what we did? When we were making the pitch deck, I literally looked at all the other agencies. So, Ayush Wadhwa ye kar rahe hai, Foxy ye kar rahe hai, White Rivers ye kar rahe hai, all these, and they had like all bunch of these services on their website and whatnot. मैंने ऐसा कर्सर लिया, copy,
drop down,
paste और that's it. मुझे पता ही नहीं था उसमें कुछ ऐसी सर्विसेज थी जो मैंने कभी करी नहीं थी. मैंने कहा हाँ कर लेंगे. अब लाइक ये कर रहे हो तो मतलब हम भी कर ही लेंगे, राइट? बिकॉज बाय दैट टाइम आई हैड वर्कड इन एजेंसीज और मुझे समझ आ गया था कि एजेंसीज कैसे काम करवाती हैं. इट डिडंट वर्क आउट.
Okay.
You know, like 6-7 months we couldn't find a client. Then I narrowed down to like one niche. I'm like, okay, I was doing travel before. I have a large portfolio of travel. Let me just sell that. In just a couple of months, we got clients.
Okay.
Right. So I saw the immediate benefit of like sort of narrowing things down. The thing is, the minute you narrow your services down, you're also able to narrow your clients down. Okay, earlier, if you're selling everything, then technically so many people can be your clients, right? But if I'm only selling one specific thing, I only do podcast shoots. So I'm now reaching out to potentially only 500 people compared to, I don't know, 5,000, whatever. I'm just taking.
But you don't have a lot of competition.
Correct. Plus, now when you go to a client, you can always like be very confident. This thing I do really well. So your chances of winning that deal over other people also increase. But anyway, so when Owl was started, I'm like, okay, you know, in the startup ecosystem, people will need a lot of videos, right? Like videos were booming. Instagram Reels are just around the corner. So yeah, videos became our thing, and we weren't just a production house, because I realized companies don't work with production houses. Companies work with content studios. And internationally, a lot of content studio models were sort of emerging, right? Which is you do things end to end, not media buying or research, but scripting, concept, and the production. So I realized that body companies to hame contract dengi nahi, because I can't form a campaign. But a small company just needs a video. They quickly need a video. So that's how we started targeting a bunch of startups and started working. And the minute we hit a certain number of business, I remember like our first sort of maybe 7 or 8 crores a year. And then like, okay, now is the time to sort of expand out. So then we added social media, then we added influencer marketing.
Okay.
So then we added like, you know, campaigns. And now we're becoming more full service in nature than we were before. With video still being the core, it's still a large driver of our, but it's changing fast. Yeah.
Is it expensive to start a production house and a studio to service these kind of clients to begin with?
No, so when I say a content studio, it doesn't mean an actual studio.
Okay.
I did no investments. Right?
Okay.
In fact, in a production, you can start a production company with no investment.
Right.
Of course, I'm assuming the person has basics like internet, laptop, all of that, right? But we started with no investment. Like there is absolutely zero capital that was put into. I think I had about 40-ish thousand. I'm forgetting the exact amount as my savings from my freelance career. Rest I had just burned. I used to spend a lot of money.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it. You don't need any money.
And at what point did you realize, okay, freelancing I'm done with and now I need to probably start a business?
Yeah, I did a 4 to 5 lakh month, and I'm like, oh wow, this is good. This is what agencies make. When I got to, you know, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I should now scale up. It was naive of me. I think again, it wasn't a strategic move. I feel I took a decision too quick because I didn't see a 4 to 5 lakh month for a very long time then.
Oh, right. Oh, you assume that in business it'll convert
Yeah,
immediately.
so the minute I hit like one, I'm like, oh wow, it's amazing, right? And I realized as a freelancer, I learned how to make money.
Right.
But as an agency, selling is very different. I'll give you an example. As a freelancer, most of my business came from agencies.
Oh,
The
they
minute-
were hiring you to for their
Correct.
services.
Exactly.
Oh,
The minute I started an agency, none of them hired me. They're like, no, now you are a competitor.
right.
So most of my business, I mean, I was still getting some business but most of my larger brands, because otherwise, how would I have gotten access to a large brand like 7 years ago? I can only get access to a large brand when I'm working through somebody. And of course, that pays you a little less. But if you're good at your job, you also win the job faster. So I was so, I've been an idiot all my life. I feel I'm like, how did I not see this? That if I call myself an agency, they'll look at me as a competitor. The biggest problem in my life was, or rather I think sometimes still is I get very overconfident. So I come from like a business family. So I assumed कि ये तो मेरे खून में ही होगा.
I've seen a lot of guys have this
ये
thing.
ये तो मैं लेके ही आया अपने साथ. मतलब business मुझे, I was so terrible at business. In fact, still sometimes I get these such basic realization. I'm like, why did I not think of this?
Right.
Why did we not do this?
No, but business is made up of like mistakes. Like if you didn't do them, you wouldn't know any better. And anybody starting out, whether you have an MBA or whether you're doing it by yourself, you will make so many mistakes when doing business. And then you look at it and you'll be like, oh, I should have just done something better. For example, in my case, like I was telling you, right? I was running a content platform and I had like this community and all of that. I took so much time to even realize, oh, this is a publishing business. Oh, I need to give out news. Oh, I need to do fact checking better because so many people are listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I knew that from the beginning, it would have been a different trajectory only.
Correct. No, that's so true. But I think eventually it humbles you down. It has, like, if you're an entrepreneur, like the business will make sure that it will bring you back to the ground, right? Otherwise it won't work, especially in an agency business. Like you have to, when you're catering to a client, right? और हमारे तो एक तो इंडिया में वो अतिथि देवो भव वाला भी एक तो इतना सीन है जो, तो जैसे ही आपको कोई पैसे दे देगा तो मतलब आपकी जिंदगी होगी उनकी.
Right.
तो बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं फ्रीलांसिंग इज लाइक यू हैव लाइक 10, 20, 30 bosses. तो वही है, मतलब आई वेक अप एंड ऑल माय बॉसेस हैव मैसेज मी कि ओके आयुष 50 चीज़ें नहीं हुई है. सो it humbles you, especially agency business will humble you down.
How do you tackle when there are so many clients being like, oh, I'm paying you money, so then this is the delivery that you have to do? Because I know as an agency founder, we face this.
No, then you do it. I mean, what option do you have? You have committed to them, right? I think you need a very strong execution and just work ethic if you're running an agency. Like for example, in rather any business, but particularly in an agency, because every single day you have to show up with the same energy because हर दिन कोई और client का कुछ तो important होता है, right?
Right.
Today, like right after this, I have a really important pitch with a client. Yesterday it was some other client. So शायद उस client के लिए वो हफ्ते में आज का एक दिन वो star दिन होगा कि okay today we are. But for us, it's like every single day. So as a founder of an agency, I think it's so easy to get stretched. And, so you can get stretched so thin very, very fast. It's important to have something that keeps your mental sanity sort of together. But you deliver. You need like very strong work ethic, I think, if you're on a scale in agency, like very, very inspirational folks in Bombay who have done it like really well, but it's a difficult business. Easy to start, hardest to scale.
And looks very fancy from the outside, but it's very
so fancy.
Looks like, oh, you can quickly like get clients, you can make so much money, but there's so many points in an agency. I feel like when you're doing it, you realize that, oh, like for example, cash flows, that's a big problem. And I wanted to ask you, because you do production and I know that is project based usually, right? So you're making a lot of money at one period of time and then maybe not making as much, but you still have expenses. So how do you manage that?
Dude, it's extremely hard. I think the only way to manage that is, so I'll tell you what happens. The minute a lot of money hits your account, you're like, oh, I'm rich.
Yes.
And then you have the urge to take out that money from the business. But the thing is, you are not rich. The
Right.
business is. So the very first learning is that what the business, especially as a solo founder, my first learning was about, I think a year and a half into the business, that this is not my profit. This is business's profit. I will get paid a salary, that too towards the very end, because you eat the last.
Yes.
That's the so the first learning has been, and by the way, it's always hard. Like every month on month it gets hard, but still the first learning is to look at business profits and your profits as separately. Take some money home, but be very disciplined with what money you take home. Do not overspend, especially when you know that business can be wobbly. Second, over some time, we've built a small corpus for our business. And this corpus is very helpful because the minute you crack a big deal, you can't service this deal because you don't have the money to pay for the advances. And this problem gets bigger and bigger every year because every year you'd want to crack bigger deals, but the corpus is not that big enough. But the idea is to just save as much as you can for your business. That will allow you to just pitch for a bigger project. So many times bigger agencies get bigger projects just because they have the money
Resources
and the
also.
resources capability. They may be much more average than you are, but they still win the business.
What would your advice be to them starting out?
Don't do what we are doing. If you do what Owl is doing or what somebody else is doing, then you will compete with us.
Okay.
Why do you want to compete with a company that's already putting in so much effort, right? If I were to start Owl again, right, like now, I wouldn't start with video.
Okay.
Video, although was growing, was not new. And I ended up competing with the big companies.
Right.
And it was a tough fight. Every day is a fight, even today. Because people, and we were very blessed because on day one, we were being compared with the biggest of the companies because our first video that we delivered, people really liked it and it went like viral on Twitter and whatnot. But if I were to start again, I would not do it.
Okay.
So if you're somebody who wants to start in media, please don't look at a large company and be like, I want to become that. No, media now is changing faster than it used to change 10 years ago. Can you look at innovations within this category? Like, for example, if I were to start Owl in 2020, I would have started something which is very deep in influencer marketing, very, very deep in creator economy. Even now, creator economy is on the rise, right? Like, figure something here. Don't
right.
make videos. Why do you want to make ad films? So many people make ad films. Why do you want to do a podcast? So many people are already doing podcasts, right? Try to find something which creator economy, everybody is becoming a creator. Like the reason we started Lit School, I don't know if you know, we have a school, we teach people how to become a creator. This economy is growing like really, really fast, right? So try to pick pockets in this industry, which a large agency like will take a long time to adapt.
For example, if it was me, I would do something related to AI if I did today.
Yeah. For example, today, I think even AR has a very big scope. Like Owl does a lot of AR, and for us also it's a very important division. But things in augmented reality will only grow, right? Like with Vision Pro coming in and so many other things. But try to find a pocket which is more unique.
Okay.
It's just that people don't have the patience because when you're in a unique pocket, it takes time to make money. So that's a trap of an agency. It's you open a laptop, start an Excel sheet, I have an agency owner. Yes. I sent the proposal.
It's really not that easy.
Yeah. Barrier to entry is very small. That's why I like this business as well, because if you're somebody who doesn't have money to start, which I did not, so many other people did not, initial capital na bhi ho to bhi shuru kar sakte.
Right.
But at the same time, any business which is easy to start has low barriers to entry, which means the competition in the market is very, very, very high. So yeah, just try to find a unique spot. Yeah, don't do what we are doing. Don't do what other people are doing.
Right.
देखो कि कौन सी companies, like अभी भी मुझे बहुत कम अच्छी पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग एजेंसीज दिखती हैं, नहीं है अच्छी, मतलब बहुत कम है, मतलब people who truly do deep research and can write like a founder writes, right?
That's a great idea for somebody who wants to start
so
out.
many, if we sit down, so many open spots in the ecosystem, but no, ad film बनाना है क्योंकि वो fancy दिखता है, मैं भी ये कर रहा था.
Social media karna hai because that's fancy.
Yeah, so try to find unique spots.